下接过啦。
嚟睇嘅滾住睇過啦。
哇！就好險咯！哇！用啊！我唔嚟講，嗰邊
你嘅起
你咁老登嘅都咁麻煩。
你嘅行是起的啦。
Super Typhoon Bualoi, one of the strongest storms of the 2025 Pacific typhoon season, made landfall in southern China on the evening of September 28th. The typhoon brought winds reaching speeds of up to 220 km/h with even stronger gusts. Before hitting China, Bualoi had already caused severe damage in Guangdong, Hainan, Guangxi, and the northern provinces of the Philippines, leading to floods, loss of life, property damage, and the displacement of millions of people. When Bualoi made landfall in Xiamen, part of Yangjiang City, Guangdong Province, local authorities launched one of the largest evacuation campaigns in history. The Chinese Emergency Management Agency reported that nearly 1.9 million residents in Guangdong Province were evacuated from high-risk areas ahead of the typhoon. In Shenzhen, a city with over 17 million people, around 400,000 residents were relocated from coastal areas and older buildings vulnerable to strong winds and flooding. Authorities suspended public transport services, including ferries, flights, and trains, severely disrupting daily life in the region. According to the National Marine Environmental Forecasting Center, waves between 4 and 7 meters hit the Guangdong coast, while some waves in the South China Sea reached up to 13 meters. Authorities issued a red alert for storm surges, warning that sea levels could rise up to 2.8 meters, creating a high risk of flooding. Seawater inundated roads in Zhuhai, near Macau, prompting the authorities to cut electricity in some areas to prevent electrical hazards. In Shenzhen, although advanced infrastructure helped reduce some damage, strong winds broke windows in high-rise buildings and scattered debris across streets. Residents in tall buildings were instructed to move to lower floors or safer structures. More than 38,000 rescue personnel, including firefighters, medical staff, and search and rescue teams, were deployed to assist the population. Heavy rainfall from Bualoi also triggered flash floods and landslides. Many rural areas experienced disruption to water and power systems. Utilities deployed thousands of technicians to restore electricity to critical facilities, including hospitals, fire stations, and relief centers. Despite weakening after reaching land, the typhoon's heavy rains and flooding continued to threaten southern China in the following days. By September 29th, authorities had set up evacuation centers, provided food, drinking water, and medical assistance to hundreds of thousands of residents. Although official damage figures had not yet been released, the timely evacuations helped minimize casualties compared to similar storms in the past. However, recovery efforts, including rebuilding homes, restoring transportation, and reviving economic activities, were expected to take weeks or even months. Bualoi highlighted the unpredictable destructive power of extreme weather and served as a warning for the urgent need to enhance community resilience to increasingly severe natural disasters. Experts emphasized that critical infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and power systems remain highly vulnerable, and disaster preparedness in remote towns must be significantly strengthened to ensure timely evacuation and delivery of relief supplies. This requires a long-term strategy and investment in more resilient infrastructure to withstand extreme weather events. Thank you for following the Extreme Weather program, where we analyze the most severe natural phenomena. If you found this video useful, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue producing content. Hit the bell to never miss an update. Stay informed and stay safe.
The disaster has underscored the vulnerability of densely populated coastal regions to extreme weather events, and the world continues to monitor the situation closely, offering support and solidarity to the people.
Wow, sao hảo hên rồi, wow, vậy nè. Có mình còn có gì?
Để cái hệ
lấy trong nướng tăng là tôi không bao hoàn.
Để cái hòn sẽ hệ rồi nè.
In a world rushing towards a green future, China is not just leading, but racing forward like an out-of-control machine. Electric vehicles, once hailed as symbols of the clean energy era, are now exploding on highways, at seaports, and even in the shattered trust of millions of consumers. What was once seen as isolated incidents now reflects a chain reaction of catastrophic failures. From blazing ships in the Pacific Ocean to EVs erupting in flames in downtown streets, China has exported more than just electric cars. They are now pushing chemical bombs disguised in glossy shells and green tech slogans to the world. It's no longer a question of safety standards. This is a national-level technological experiment where 1.4 billion people are involuntarily serving as guinea pigs in a power struggle between the government, corporations, and the ambition of electrification. When fires rage, when the flames from lithium batteries burst in uncontrollable fury, one must wonder whether the entire world is inside another Morning Mios incident, where all it takes is a spark for everything to turn to dust. Let's dive into today's story. A world where not just the numbers of explosions are counted by the day, but where each drop of sweat, each life, and each dream of a green future is being consumed by technology that's not ready yet, but is being forced to dominate. In the early morning hours of June 2025, in the cold waters of the North Pacific, an unusual red dot appeared on NOAA's maritime warning system. Just minutes later, satellites spotted dense black smoke rising from one of the world's largest car carriers leaving China, the Morning Mios. A 183-meter-long ship from Jack Maritime caught fire in the cargo hold, where nearly 800 newly produced electric cars were stored, setting off a chain reaction that would send shockwaves through the global transport and electric vehicle industries. from Yantai Port in Shandong Province on January 26, 2025, carrying over 3,000 cars, mostly from Chinese domestic brands like Rus Wotos, BID, and Lap Motor. Its destination was the port of Lázaro Cárdenas in Mexico, scheduled to arrive by June 15th to distribute the cars before the summer peak season. However, instead of arriving in the Americas, the ship became the epicenter of a new transport safety crisis when hundreds of lithium-ion batteries began a chain reaction, setting the entire cargo hold ablaze like an underground furnace. The U.S. Coast Guard later confirmed that the fire started in the electric vehicle cargo hold, which experts have labeled as a potential bomb without adequate insulation systems. Despite the automatic fire suppression systems being activated, the heat generated by the lithium batteries was so intense that it overwhelmed the efforts to control the fire. To make matters worse, the ship was also carrying over 1,800 tons of fuel, including diesel and VLSFO, turning the Morning Muse into a literal floating bomb. Fearing the fire would spread to the engine room and living quarters, the entire 22-member crew was forced to send an emergency distress signal and abandon the ship. They were rescued, but over 800 electric vehicles were completely destroyed, along with dozens of cargo containers. According to estimates by Anderson Economic Group, AEG, the fire caused damages exceeding $559 million across the supply chain, enough to make marine insurance companies reconsider their risk evaluations for green transport. The most notable aspect of the fire was that the entire shipment of cars came from China, with many of the vehicle's brands like BYD, Chery, Sia, and Loop Motor still undetermined. This disaster didn't just shake the shipping industry, it raised a critical warning about the safety of lithium batteries, especially when transported in vessels not designed to handle thermal runaway reactions. According to experts from the International Maritime Safety Organization, IMSO, these batteries, if subjected to shock, overheating, or charging failures, can enter a state called thermal runaway, meaning one fire can trigger an entire group of batteries to explode, and no amount of water or air can stop it. Worse still, lithium batteries can reignite even hours after being put out, with temperatures reaching thousands of degrees at the core of the reaction, turning container ships into floating death traps. Morning Mayos was only the tip of the iceberg. In 2022, the Felicity Ace, a Mitsui SKL ship from Japan, was also consumed by fire in the Atlantic Ocean with over 4,000 gasoline cars, including electric models from Porsche, Audi, and Lamborghini. The cause was suspected to be a lithium battery fire, though official conclusions have been kept under wraps. Just a few weeks before the Morning Mayos incident, another fire occurred at the J. Brook port in Belgium on the Gyn ship, where over 100 electric vehicles caught fire, forcing a high-level safety alert. The issue isn't whether electric vehicles will catch fire, but when. A single electric vehicle fire requires over 30,000 liters of water or air to isolate the fire, but most commercial ships are not equipped to handle such a scenario. In May 2025 alone, the port in Shanghai saw over 120,000 vehicles unloaded, a record number. Over 90 international ships arrived in just 1 month, mostly carrying electric vehicles or electric vehicle parts, signaling the rapid expansion of the electric vehicle transportation network, especially under China's Belt and Road Initiative. However, The speed of export is far outpacing the safety standards. With unverified batteries, inadequate thermal management systems, and outdated transportation standards, every shipment leaving port could potentially be a mobile bomb suspended in global trade routes. After the Morning Mayos fire was reported, social media in China exploded with backlash, with many labeling electric vehicles as mobile ticking time bombs. Horror stories of electric vehicles catching fire have been shared widely, especially one incident on May 29, 2025, where a Xiaomi MSU7 car collided with a guardrail on a highway in Anhui province and caught fire. Initial reports on social media revealed that the flames spread too quickly and the doors were locked, leaving the 3 victims trapped inside. Following the Xiaomi SU7 accident, state media had to intervene, warning car manufacturers against overly advertising their self-driving capabilities while reassuring consumers that EV models had passed safety inspections. Yet, trust in EV safety has been shattered. This surge in incidents has sparked serious debates about the reliability of modern electric vehicles in China, with the primary concern being the lithium-ion battery, the heart of every electric vehicle and the most volatile component. The chemical structure of lithium-ion batteries is highly vulnerable to impact, high temperatures, improper charging, or simply degradation over time. If the battery exceeds its tolerance level, it enters thermal runaway, meaning the heat from one section will trigger the rest, causing the entire battery pack to explode like a chain of fireworks. In this scenario, no amount of water, air, or cooling systems can extinguish the fire. As a result, many consumers are questioning whether it is worth risking their lives for a cheap, mass-produced electric vehicle. This situation is compounded by the fact that China is now the largest producer of electric vehicles globally, carrying the greatest burden of risk. As reported by Chinese media, 2025 saw at least 112 electric vehicle fires in just the first 4 months of the year, averaging more than 1 vehicle fire per day. The underlying issue is not just about the number of incidents, but the deepening concern over safety in an industry racing to expand without adequate testing and verification. Despite aggressive marketing, it's becoming increasingly clear that many electric vehicles are not yet ready for the mass market, with flaws in the technology and safety systems that could cost lives. In a market driven by government subsidies, low prices, and the promise of green innovation, the growing number of accidents is a wake-up call for the industry and the consumers. The reckless speed of EV adoption without proper safety protocols has turned consumers into involuntary guinea pigs in a technological experiment. As the EV industry continues to grow, the question is no longer whether electric vehicles are safe, but how many more lives will be sacrificed to corporate greed and technological negligence.
We sincerely thank you for taking the time to follow our report. Nature always holds both majestic beauty and the relentless challenges, and sharing information in a timely manner helps us better understand and prepare for every change. We hope you will continue to stay attentive, share, and join us in our upcoming programs. We wish you and your family peace, health, and safety in the face of any transformation of the climate and nature. We will meet you again in our next report.